At 5 a.m. local time in Israel, apparently 6,000 long-range rockets, drones, and other attack aircraft of sorts were to be launched against Israel by Hezbollah in Lebanon. Shortly before those rockets were launched, Israel launched a massive series of airstrikes aimed at these launchers in Lebanon. At first, we were getting reports, Eastern Standard around 10 p.m., that Israel was conducting large-scale air assaults and attacks. Over 100 Israeli Defense Force aircraft were involved in the strikes against Lebanon. At first, we did not hear of any actual attack by Hezbollah, and so that was all being taken with a big grain of salt. There was discussion as to whether or not these attacks were actually preceding an actual Hezbollah attack. However, at 5 a.m. local time or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard, the rockets were timed to launch, and several hundred missiles apparently did still launch against Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv, the largest city in Israel. However, most of those missiles were intercepted. Several of them landed in outlying areas. Only one report of injuries. A woman was treated for light shrapnel injuries in the city of Acre. A chicken coop took a direct hit and all the chickens were killed. But as of this time in Israel, there seems to be no loss of life. This is supposed to be a massive assault in retribution. Hezbollah not only launched a series of missiles, but then claimed to have launched 320 missiles towards Tel Aviv and released a statement that this was, quote, the beginning of the initial response to the martyrdom of Mr. Fuad Shukr. So we have been waiting for Hezbollah to respond to the attack on them in the outskirts of Beirut. This is separate than the Iranian response out there that is still supposedly coming, or maybe not coming. We don't know. Iran has not taken any concrete steps up to this point. However, on a separate airstrike, Mr. Fuad Shukr was eliminated, and this has been, Hezbollah said that they were going to retaliate for this with a massive attack on Israel. Like I said, the initial information is a little sketchy, but it seems like Hezbollah was planning to launch 6,000 missiles, rockets, and drones, particularly against Tel Aviv, deep into Israel, not just the border areas and the northern areas of Israel, but deep into Israel. As it said in its statement, this began an air attack with a large number of marches. Now, I'm not sure if they meant launchers or they mean like many steps or something like that. It is a translation after all. Large number of marches and towards a specific Israeli military target. Now, were they actually trying to land them at a military target? It seems like these missiles maybe were not accurate enough to really actually be targeting. Maybe they were just saying that language so that it was it's not taken as a human rights abuse or a war crime that they're firing indiscriminately at civilian populations. That could be just, a political cover there. But that's what they're saying. But notice it says towards a specific military target. Also, in the statement, it talks about going deep into Israel. And that seems to be part of the idea, is that they are trying to communicate that they can strike deep into Israel. But as of now, it seems like no military targets were hit. The impacts that were not intercepted seem to have. There's some picture on Twitter of a home that had its windows blown out, but no injuries at that home. Like I said, the chicken coop that was destroyed. We have a video of an impact near a highway, but the closest vehicle was far enough away that it did not suffer any damage. So it seems like that did not cause any damage there. This has been hours now since the attack, and so the information coming out of Israel seems to be relatively solid on casualties and impacts, though there is a possibility that we may hear about casualties that we have not yet heard about just yet. However, it seems like this, at least phase of Hezbollah's retribution or attack on Israel is over. They have released another statement, basically saying that their attack in retribution for Mr. Fuad Shoker had been successful, that they hit targets in Tel Aviv, but apparently they didn't hit any, and that seems to be the end of this round. The Tel Aviv airport, Ben Gurion Airport, has resumed flights in and out of Israel. It did halt all flights. Israel also had released public alerts to everybody to not have any public gatherings. All the beaches were closed, and a number of things along those lines too, to limit and tell people that they all need to be near their shelters in preparation for this. And like I said, before this attack happened, Israel launched a massive set of airstrikes against Lebanon. We are told 100 Israeli fighter jets hit 40 plus missile sites. We're told that over 150 missile launchers were hit. And according to the Israeli Defense Forces, thousands of missiles were destroyed on the ground so that they could not be launched. It is interesting that Hezbollah has still come out with a statement saying, we're done for now. Though in their opening statement, the idea, as it says here, these military operations will take some time to be completed. So that does seem to be at odds with this statement relatively soon after the launches that we're done. That our retribution is over, that we're done with that. So my interpretation, which, I'm here in the United States and trying to follow along with things as best I can. My interpretation is they're saying this phase of their retribution for Fuad Shoker is complete, or at least maybe this phase is dedicated to Fuad Shoker, and maybe there's going to be more phases dedicated to other people, but basically that there's going to be more steps here. Otherwise, I don't think they would have put in there that these military operations will take some time to be completed. Large number of marches also seems to kind of indicate that they're talking about doing number of actions of some sort. We don't know exactly what those are. We have also heard that Iran has talked about that their response is not going to be a one-off. They weren't going to just do a one big strike on Israel like they did before, but they were going to do it again. They're going to draw it out over a period of time. They said, at least initially, some of the people inside the Islamic Revolutionary Guard saying something along the lines of, it may take 3 or more days. So is Hezbollah in Lebanon thinking along the same lines? Or is this kind of like Lebanon does one day and then someone else does another day and another day? Or Or is this like the missile component and then there's going to be a ground attack of some sort or a terrorist attack? We don't know, but it does seem like Israel has, by and large, foiled this large attack on it, which if that's the case, then kudos to them. That's destroying the missiles before they can be launched. Who's not for that, right? Generally speaking. But this is the initial reports that we're hearing from the Israeli Defense Forces. We haven't heard a more complete answer by Hezbollah about what happened. It seems like they're in shock right now, and it seems like they don't understand what has just happened. Because some of the reports seeming to say that they've launched 320 missiles towards Tel Aviv, but then the Israeli Defense Force seems to be saying like it was more like 150, and most of them were intercepted. So did more of their missile launchers get destroyed than they thought? But then the Israeli Defense Force saying that they destroyed thousands of missiles on the ground. And then also this report out here about 6,000 long-range rockets and missiles. So not all this seems to be fully adding up just yet. So we're going to have to wait and see how this unfolds. But obviously, right now is a more dangerous moment and day than yesterday. Now that we've had one larger scale attack by Hezbollah against Israel, there could be a continuation or a next phase of some sort. And so people in Israel need to be on the alert. If you're a praying person, please be praying for the people of Israel. Please also be praying for the civilians and people in Lebanon. It has been pointed out on numerous occasions, too, that there are many Christians actually in Lebanon. When we say Lebanon, we're talking about the country. When we talk about Hezbollah within Lebanon, we're talking about a terrorist organization that's a political force, but is distinct from the government of Lebanon. The government of Lebanon is not as strong as Hezbollah at this point. It seems like Hezbollah is actually stronger than the government, and so the government kind of has to kind of get along with Hezbollah, but the Lebanese government does not have the same principles, doesn't have the same purposes and goals as the Hezbollah forces do, who are very much controlled or heavily influenced by Iran and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is focused in on exporting the Islamic Revolution and the taking the fight to Israel, because they believe that eradicating Israel is a necessary step in order to bring about basically their end times, the apocalypse, which their imam will return, the Mahdi will return and lead the Islamic world into a golden era of prosperity and faithfulness to Allah and such. So Iran definitely believes this. The government of Iran is all about exporting this. Hezbollah is on board with this, and they are all about trying to eradicate Israel. The Palestinians are less on board with the whole Shia Mahdi thing, but they are very much on board with, they want to kick out Israel because of their own personal benefits and their own personal retributions and such like that. So that's why Hamas is on board, and the Palestinian Authority and the other groups, Islamic Jihad of Gaza, are on board with these things too, because they're not so much in alignment with all of the theological stuff of Iran, but they're on board with the general retribution thing against Israel, and their agreeing purposes. So that's what's happening out there. Is Iran going to launch another series is this the beginning of Iran's retribution against Israel for the assassination of the Hamas guy, whose name I can't remember and I don't really care to, in in Tehran. If that's the case, then this could get pretty crazy in the coming days. They may finally be ready. We do have 2 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers in the region now. Both of them seem to be in the Persian Gulf area over towards Iran. And we haven't yet seen any major movements from Iran towards an attack of some sort or whatever. We have had several car suicide bombings inside Israel in the last number of days. And that may, in their mind, be part of what's going on with that too. All right, friends, I'll keep you updated on what's going on. Hopefully you can have a good Sunday services, your church or wherever. Please be praying for the people of Israel. Please be praying for the civilians of all sides in that whole region because this is very serious. A lot of the people in Lebanon, like I said, are Christians and other religious beliefs as well. And the civilians really don't have any say in what's going on in Lebanon. Even the government doesn't really have all that much say about what Hezbollah does or does not do in Lebanon as well. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.